George, don't you think that George and Jim and the other people who lead Team Hammond are doing a great job? Don't you think so? Please clap for them. I want to thank Team Hammond and your leaders for giving me the opportunity to speak. I promise my target is taking only 5 minutes of your time, because I know it's been a long night. And you'll find out whether or not I'm a politician who keeps his promise in the next 5 minutes. All I want to do is tell you that I'm a Democrat. I'm running against Pete Visclosky for the Democratic nomination for Congress. And you can go to my website and find out all kinds of differences between me and Pete. But all I want to tell you about tonight are 5 differences. 5 differences. First one, I am pro-life. I've been a volunteer publicist for Lake County Right to Life for several years, and I've always been pro-life. Pete Visclosky has consistently voted to give our tax money, federal tax money, to organizations that promote and provide abortion. Now there's a distinction. You may think that abortion should be legal, but you're not going to force it on people. Pete Visclosky is extreme in the abortion arena because he consistently votes to give federal tax money to organizations that promote and provide abortion. That is an extreme position because it forces all of us out of our pockets to pay these organizations for promoting and providing abortion. Number 2, I'm against the Obamacare that's been proposed, or the health care reform that's been proposed. And I'm not against health care reform, but I want it to be responsible and reasonable. And the proposals that have come up are destructive and extreme. I've been helping senior citizens for over 7 years now to straighten out medical bill problems that are caused by problems in the Medicare system. So I have pretty good knowledge about how that works and where some improvement can go. The next thing is I'm against free trade. In 1993, Pete Visclosky voted for NAFTA, what is called North American Free Trade Agreement. Personally, I call it No American Factories Taking Applications. My own brother lost 2 jobs because his employer, after NAFTA was passed, packed up an apartment that he worked in and moved it to Ciudad Perez and told him, "You're out of a job." My brother has lost 2 jobs because of NAFTA and free trade. I am definitely against free trade. Also, I believe that our taxes should be lowered. I want to teach you about a distinction that I wrote about in an article several years ago, which I called End Anti-Human Income Taxes in America. The distinction is corporations, businesses, and so forth don't pay taxes. Their tax burden for the federal income tax is not calculated on their gross receipts. They're allowed to deduct all of their existence expenses first to where they get gross income. And then the calculation on taxes comes somewhere below there, depending on their credits and so forth like that. But you and I, as wage earners and salaried people, we pay taxes on our gross receipts. They pay taxes on their gross income after their existence expenses for that business are paid. We pay taxes on our gross receipts, our wages, our salaries. We're given a piddly amount of money, a piddly amount of deductions and exemptions, and then we're expected to pay for all the money that we've taken in. We're not allowed human existence expenses. Don't you have human existence expenses? If a business can deduct its utilities, why shouldn't a person be able to deduct their utilities? If a business can deduct the cost of a car to transport the president of the corporation and all the gas and oil and so forth like that, why can't parents deduct the cost of their car to transport their kids and their grandmother to the doctor? The tax system has been unfair to working people for decades because of this distinction. And I want to go to Congress and tell them, fix the problem for working people and fix it now. And I think I can be very persuasive in that. And you will save a lot of money, and working people across the nation can save a lot of money if we build fairness into the federal income tax system. And I hope that once that problem is focused on in national TV in Washington, D.C., I hope all the states in the country will then exempt our existence expenses in income taxes. Because that would be fair for every working American. And last but not least, I haven't memorized the bill yet, but sometime before the election I'll memorize it. But Pete Bisklowski has introduced a law that is supposed to help Indiana Dunes Lakeshore. But there's some clauses in that law that he has proposed which make it easier for the Department of Interior Secretary to buy property in Lake Porter and LaPorte County at property tax sheriff sales. In other words, the Department of Interior Secretary can send somebody to Lake Porter and LaPorte County under this bill sponsored by Pete Bisklowski and buy up land and property at 10 cents on the dollar, 15 cents on the dollar, whatever the property tax bill is. We're already being crushed by property taxes now. Why do we need more unfairness to property owners in Lake Porter and LaPorte County? This is unfair on the part of Pete Bisklowski towards every property owner in these three counties. And you know what? The Secretary of the Interior has an almost unlimited budget because he gets his money from the federal government. All he has to do is ask for a few more $1 billion. Maybe all the problems in Northwest Indiana will be solved because Pete Bisklowski's bill will allow the Secretary of the Interior to buy all the land in Lake Porter and LaPorte counties, and we'll all have to move out. So my point is, again, I would review for you the five differences that I'm talking about tonight. There are others. You go to my website, which is electwoodrowwilcox.com. electwoodrowwilcox.com. And the 5 points I mentioned to you tonight are, I'm pro-life, he's pro-abortion. I'm against Obamacare as it's being proposed, and I'll tell you why. I didn't tell you why. Another reason. Every one of the proposals, the House proposal, the Senate proposal, Obama's proposal, all of them have several common faults in them, but let me tell you about the big one that I'm really upset about. Each one of them would force senior citizens across America to give up hundreds of billions of dollars in scheduled Medicare benefits so that they can use that money that was going to senior citizens to help pay for various versions of Obamacare for health care for other people. I think that's wrong for senior citizens. That's like mugging every grandma and grandpa in the nation. That's like taking every grandma and grandpa in the nation and throwing them under the bus. Pete Bisklowski may want to throw every grandma and grandma in America under the bus, but I won't. I'm Woodrow Wilcox, and on May 4, I hope you vote in the Democratic primary, or tell your friends who are Democrats to vote for me. I'm running against Pete Bisklowski. Thank you. I guess I know somebody called me and told me. Thank you very much, Pete.
Number one on the ballot.
Look, the lottery he's talking about is that my name will go over Pete Bisklowski's name in all the ballots of Lake County, Indiana. Yeah. You have a question, I'm sorry.